My grandmother Juanita Rios moved from Puerto Rico to New York. Puerto Rico in the 1940s was deep in poverty and had the name Poorhouse of the Caribbean. Almost half of the adult population of 1.1 million people were unemployed. Those who did have jobs worked mainly in sugarcane plantations, which was seasonal work and didn't benefit the people who needed jobs when the season was over. On August 5, 1947, the United States Congress passed the Elective Governors Act, allowing Puerto Ricans to elect their own government. President Harry Truman signed the act, and Jesus T. Pinero was elected governor of Puerto Rico. After this, more than 28 airlines provided services between San Juan, Puerto Rico, Miami, Florida, and New York. My grandmother was born in San Juan, Puerto Rico in 1938. She lived with both her mother and father along with her 3 sisters. She would always go to school and help out her mother around the house after, and if she had time, she would play with her friends. My grandmother and her family moved to New York when she was only 9 years old in 1947. She was scared because she had never traveled before and didn't know how the new place would be. When she arrived in New York, she instantly wanted to go back. She would come home every day crying and begging her mother to come back to San Juan. But her mother would say, "No, we have to make a living here. There's nothing back home." So my grandmother had no other choice but to try and fit in as a New Yorican, starting with school. She soon found out that she wasn't alone and that there were other Puerto Ricans just like her that migrated from Puerto Rico. My grandmother has struggled with English to this day, but she tried very hard to learn English back in New York. As time went on, she got used to New York and began to like it even better than Puerto Rico, and would spend her time going to the movies, parks, and party at Spanish clubs that played all her favorites like bachata, merengue, salsa, and reggaeton. She continued to stay in New York for 29 years until she started having problems with her first husband and decided she wanted to move to escape from her problems, and gave her sister in Chicago a phone call to ask if she could move in with her, and she packed her bags, then left without giving it a second thought. My mother never would have thought she would ever move to Chicago, but she turned out liking it here, just like when she moved from Puerto Rico to New York. Once you get accustomed to a place, you eventually like it.